was late last night. I paid the taxi and stumbled back into the apartment, but managing to bang into damn near everything. Cringing at each thing I knocked over, I groped my way through the dark into my bedroom. It must have been about 2, maybe 3 in the morning by this point. The bar was closed, that's for sure. I stripped into my underwear and crawled into the bed as stealthily as I could. My girlfriend would definitely be pissed off at me for getting home at this ungodly hour. She didn't stir, though, the blanket rising and falling slowly with her resting breaths. I slunk down into the pillow, eyes droopy and breaths heavy. I was nearly passed out before I even touched the cool, silky sheets. I could feel the room spinning away into a dream when my phone began to vibrate. I groggily rolled onto the side of the bed, reaching for the rumbling hums. I looked at the screen, and it was my girlfriend's number. She must have left it at a friend's house, and they were calling my phone to let me know. I answered it. Hello?
Hey, babe. Just got home. Could you help me bring in the laundry?
What? That was my girlfriend's voice, but I snapped my head to the huddled body laying next to me. My mind spewed infinite scenarios of what unimaginable horror awaited me under those sheets. My stomach in my throat, my eyes wide with terror, I grabbed a handful of blanket and snatched it away from what it covered. She moaned into consciousness and stared at me, confused. I shined my phone in her face to see if she was some shrunken-eyed specter. No. She just looked really pissed off. She saw my eyes wide and my mouth open stupidly.
Oh, you stupid drunken asshole. Go to sleep.
She seethed and smacked me with a pillow. She kicked at my side a few times, grumbling some obscenities, and flipped over towards the wall. Yep, definitely my girlfriend. I must have hung up the phone because it began vibrating again in my hand. I jumped a bit, my nerves still a bit frayed. It was her number again. I answered it, and she spoke again.
Hey, babe. Just got home. Could you help me?
I hung up right away. It sounded exactly like her, but she was asleep right next to me. Her basket of clean clothes was in the corner, filled with folded things that she hadn't put away yet. I remember her bringing it home earlier, because she called me this afternoon and I begrudgingly dragged it all upstairs for her. I crawled over to the window and with 2 fingers separated the blind so I could peer through. I scanned the lot for her car and saw it nearly directly below our bedroom. It was weird. It looked like she was in the car, but the longer that I watched, the more it sank in that there was something very, very off. Her neck seemed too long, her shoulders much too narrow, and her head too thin. Her face began to twist to the side, all the while a toothy grin stretched wider and wider until it was touching both of her ears. Her large shadowed eyes were staring straight forward into the steering wheel until suddenly her face snapped upwards, her black eyes wide and staring hungrily into my window. Her mouth began to open into an impossible cavernous grin. She raised a gangly hand to her head. My phone began to vibrate once more. I had been staring in shock, in complete disbelief in what I had been experiencing. The light buzzing in my hand jolted me back into reality. All the air left my lungs. I collapsed next to my girlfriend and shook her awake. Still in her tired stupor, I shook her harder, grabbing her by the arm and pulling her to the window. "Baby, look inside your windshield." She looked around her car, and then she saw it. She began to speak, looking very worried. In a split second, it changed into a twisted grimace of pure terror, her suddenly bursting into shrieking hysterical sobs. She shoved her head into my side, my arms pulling her close into my abdomen. Unable to look away from the window, I watched as the thing inside of her car opened the car door and walked away, unnaturally quick, towards the forest lake on the left of the apartments. It kept its head turned towards me the whole time, its neck bending gruesomely backwards, as the rest of its body strutted away. It wasn't grinning anymore. It was frowning. It almost looked sad. We must have tired ourselves out from all the surges of adrenaline fueled by fear, because right after it walked away, I remembered waking up in the daytime. My girlfriend was still tangled in my arms, both of us slumped towards each other like a letter A. I checked my phone to see what time it was and saw that I'd missed 16 calls, all of them between the time of 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. this morning. We hadn't tried calling each other since yesterday afternoon, before all that happened. I had no idea how her phone was even used like that, as it was plugged in right next to her all night. There weren't any outgoing calls from her phone to mine. What's weirder, though, is that she checked her phone. She also had 18 missed calls from my phone number. Each one, the same as mine, was made between 1 and 7 a.m. I didn't really know what to say to her about it. So I said, "Well, babe, I guess this means no more late-night taco runs for a while." We didn't laugh.